Every travel influencer on the planet is racing to the same dozen cities. And while those places are undeniably beautiful, they have become something closer to a theme park than a destination. But 4,500 kilometers to the east, sitting at the very heart of the ancient world, is a country so breathtaking, so historically significant, and so utterly untouched by the masses that seasoned travelers who visit it routinely describe it as the greatest travel secret of the 21st century. Its name is Uzbekistan, and after this video, you will understand exactly why. Ask most people in the West where Uzbekistan is, and you will be met with a blank stare. Those who do recognize the name often imagine a remote, inaccessible land, somewhere dusty and difficult and far beyond the reach of the average traveler. The reality in 2026 is almost shockingly different. Uzbekistan is a landlocked country in the heart of Central Asia, home to nearly 37 million people. It sits at the precise geographic intersection of East and West, the very crossroads through which merchants, monks, conquerors, and ideas flowed for over 1,000 years along the greatest trade route the world has ever known, the Silk Road. This was the country of Timur, Tamerlane, the fearsome 14th century conqueror whose empire stretched from Turkey to India, and who spent his extraordinary wealth building some of the most magnificent structures in human history. The evidence of that ambition still stands today, in extraordinary detail, in the present. Today, we count down 5 reasons why Uzbekistan is not just an underrated destination. It is the most underrated country in the entire world. We begin in Samarkand, and we begin with a confession. No amount of preparation, no documentary, no photograph, no piece of writing can fully prepare you for what it feels like to stand before the Registan. The centerpiece of Samarkand, and perhaps of the entire Islamic world, the Registan is a vast public square flanked on 3 sides by 3 monumental madrasas. The Ulugh Beg, built in the early 15th century by a ruler who was also one of the greatest astronomers of his age. The shared door, adorned with an astonishing tiger mosaic that boldly broke every convention of Islamic art. And the Tilakari, its interiors finished in gold leaf so dense and so detailed that standing inside it feels less like entering a building and more like entering a vision. What strikes you first is the scale. What strikes you second is the color, the deep, impossible blue of the lapis lazuli tilework, the turquoise domes that seem to catch and hold the afternoon light, the intricate geometric patterns that reveal new layers of complexity the longer you stand before them. These are structures built at a time when Samarkand was considered the center of the known world. They look every inch the part. A short walk from the Registan lies the Gur-e-Amir, the tomb of Timur himself, a perfectly proportioned turquoise dome rising above an ornate drum of knotwork and inscription. Its interior, a cathedral of light and lapis. And threading across the northern edge of the city is the Shah-i-Zinda, a sacred avenue of mausoleums from the 11th to the 15th centuries, each one a masterwork of ceramic art, their facades so vividly patterned they appear almost supernatural in the morning light. To walk through Shah-i-Zinda is to understand, at a cellular level, that what you are witnessing is something the Western world has simply never given enough attention. And if Samarkand represents the grandeur of Uzbekistan, the ancient walled city of Khiva, 450 kilometers to the west, represents something equally extraordinary: a complete medieval city, frozen perfectly in time. Surrounded by thick mud brick walls and classified as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Khiva's Ichan Kala is the world's most complete example of a medieval Central Asian urban landscape. Its minarets, palaces, and madrasas crowd together in a labyrinthine network of narrow streets where the only sounds are the wind and the distant call to prayer. Walking through Khiva at dusk, as the shadows lengthen across the baked earth, you experience the rare sensation of standing entirely outside the modern world. Of Uzbekistan's three great Silk Road cities, Samarkand, Khiva, and Bukhara, it is Bukhara that many seasoned travelers come to love the most. And it is Bukhara that is the most frequently overlooked by those visiting for the first time. The reason is simple. Bukhara does not announce itself with a single overwhelming set piece. Instead, it offers something rarer and ultimately more valuable: a profound sense of layered, living history. At its heart is the Lyabi-Hauz, a reflecting pool that has served as the social center of the city for over 4 centuries. Shaded by massive ancient mulberry trees, surrounded by historic madrasas, and a caravanserai where Silk Road merchants once rested after journeys of thousands of miles, this is a place where locals still gather in the evenings to drink tea and play chess beneath the stars. Nearby, the Kalon Minaret rises 47 meters above the old city. Built in 1127, it was so majestic that when Genghis Khan arrived to raze Bukhara to the ground, he reportedly removed his hat in its presence. The only structure in Central Asia he is said to have spared. Standing beneath it today, it is not difficult to understand why. And everywhere in Bukhara's old city, between the great monuments, you find the artisans, silk weavers working 600-year-old patterns on hand looms, craftsmen carving walnut screens with geometric precision, embroiderers producing Suzani, the extraordinary decorative textiles that generations of Uzbek mothers have stitched as gifts for their daughters before marriage. In Bukhara, history is not merely preserved, it breathes. To understand Uzbek culture, you must first understand Plov. And to understand Plov, you must understand that this is not merely a dish. It is a ceremony, a statement of identity, and in many ways, the spiritual heart of Uzbek society. Plov, rice slow-cooked with lamb, carrots, and onions in a vast cast-iron kazan, has been described as the national soul of Uzbekistan. Every region holds its own variation. In the Fergana Valley, considered the Plov capital of the world, the dish is lighter, with a subtle sweetness from the yellow carrots. Uzbek men, and it is traditionally men who cook it, take extraordinary pride in their personal recipe. In 2016, the tradition of preparing and sharing Plov was officially inscribed on UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage List. But Plov is only the beginning. There is samsa, flaky, hand-folded pastries baked in a clay tandoor, filled with lamb and onion, and pulled from the oven still blistering. There is shurpa, a deeply nourishing lamb and vegetable soup ladled into ceramic bowls. There is lagman, hand-pulled noodles in a fragrant broth, carried to Uzbekistan along the Silk Road from China centuries ago. And there is the bread, naan, a round, dimpled flatbread considered so sacred that dropping it is regarded as a serious social transgression. In Uzbekistan, to offer food to a guest is an act of profound respect. The flavors, informed by 1,000 years of Silk Road exchange, Persian, Chinese, Mongolian, Arab, are unlike anything else on Earth. If you're finding this journey as compelling as we did, this is a good moment to subscribe. We explore destinations like this, extraordinary, underrated, and utterly real every week. Now, back to Uzbekistan. Not all of Uzbekistan's story is one of triumph. There is a place in the far northwest of the country, the town of Moynak, that stands as perhaps the most haunting monument to environmental destruction in human history. In the middle of the 20th century, Moynak was a thriving fishing port on the shores of the Aral Sea, once the fourth largest lake in the world. Soviet agricultural policy diverted the two rivers that fed it to irrigate cotton fields, and over the following decades, the sea began to disappear. By the 1990s, it was gone. Where water once lapped against the piers of a fishing fleet, there is now bare desert, and in that desert, arranged like the bones of a vanished world, sit the rusting hulks of dozens of fishing ships, stranded 40 kilometers from the nearest water, slowly returning to dust. Standing among the ghost ships of Moynak is an experience of singular emotional power. It is a place where the scale of human impact on the natural world becomes impossible to ignore. And yet, it is also a place of extraordinary quiet beauty. The colors of rust against a vast blue sky, the profound silence, the strange poetry of a vessel forever beached in a sea of sand. For the traveler willing to make the journey, Moynak represents something that few destinations in the world can offer: a landscape that forces reflection. Travelers who visit Uzbekistan consistently cite the same experience as the most unexpected and the most unforgettable aspect of the country: the people. Uzbek hospitality, mehmon dostlik, is not a custom. It is a philosophy. The word for guest in Uzbek is memon, and it is said that a guest is more important than a father. This is not a turn of phrase. Families who have very little will set extraordinary tables for a stranger. Invitations to share tea, to share a meal, to come inside and rest, extended not to tourists, but to human beings, are offered with a generosity that is both disarming and deeply moving. This is a society shaped by the Silk Road, by centuries of receiving travelers from every corner of the world, of exchanging ideas and goods and stories at the junction of civilizations. That legacy of openness has not faded. It is present in the curiosity with which locals approach visitors, in their pride in showing their country, in the warmth with which they receive genuine interest in their culture and their history. In a world where mass tourism has made many destinations feel transactional, Uzbekistan offers something increasingly rare: the feeling of being truly, genuinely welcomed. There is one final reason why Uzbekistan's moment is now, and it is deeply practical. Uzbekistan is, by any objective measure, one of the most affordable travel destinations in the world. Accommodation that would cost 200 euros in Vienna costs 20 in Tashkent, and it is often extraordinary. Converted caravanserais, courtyard guest houses built around centuries-old mulberry trees, boutique hotels inside actual historic mansions. A meal at a local chaikhana, a traditional tea house, costs less than $1. An intercity taxi costs almost nothing. The infrastructure, meanwhile, has been quietly and dramatically upgraded. High-speed trains now connect Tashkent, Samarkand, and Bukhara in fast, efficient, and comfortable journeys. Uzbekistan's e-visa system now covers citizens of over 90 countries, with many receiving entirely visa-free access. The most significant barrier to travel here has been removed. In short, Uzbekistan has never been more accessible, more affordable, or more ready to receive the world. The only question that remains is why the world is still looking elsewhere. Uzbekistan is not waiting to be discovered. It has been here, at the very heart of human history, for more than 2,000 years. Its cities shaped the intellectual tradition of the Islamic Golden Age. Its roots carried the goods and ideas that built the modern world. Its people have welcomed strangers with extraordinary grace for longer than most of Europe's great capitals have existed. What is waiting to happen is for the world to catch up. For the travelers who crowd the streets of Santorini and Bali and Prague to look east, not just further, but deeper, to a country where the monuments are more ancient, the hospitality more genuine, and the experience more transformative than almost anywhere else on the face of the earth. This is Uzbekistan, the most underrated country in the world. And now that you know it, the only thing left to do is go. If you've enjoyed this journey with us, please give us a like and subscribe to Four Corners Travel for more explorations of the world's most extraordinary places. And let us know in the comments which of Uzbekistan's great Silk Road cities is calling your name: Samarkand, Bukhara, or Khiva. We'd love to know. Until next time, we'll see you at the next corner of the globe.